Dannielynn Birkhead is now 19 years old and living a life that her mother, Anna Nicole Smith, could never have. She was once the baby who was at the center of one of Hollywood's saddest stories. In the year 2025, she has become a mature young woman who avoids the chaos of fame and is proud of who she is. Because her father loved her, she has found security in a world that used to break up her family. No longer is her story a sad one, but of quiet power, beauty, and growth. Dannielynn Hope Marshall Stern came into the world surrounded by glitz, confusion, and sadness. Not many people know this. She was Anna Nicole Smith's long-awaited baby. Anna Nicole Smith is a model and reality TV star who was once in the news for her marriage to oil tycoon J. Howard Marshall. But while her birth should have been a happy event, it quickly turned into one of the most famous paternity and custody fights in Hollywood history. Smith named her lawyer and close friend Howard K. Stern as the baby's father on the birth certificate when Dannielynn was born. When they were seen together in public, they strongly defended their relationship and kept the baby from the press. But almost right away, rumors started to spread about who Dannielynn's father was. Anna Nicole dated photographer Larry Birkhead before she started dating Stern. Birkhead came forward and said that he was the child's real father. After that, there was a flood of tabloid rumors, court documents, and public comments, each one more shocking than the last. Birkhead was so sure of what he thought that he asked for a DNA test to prove it. The story was shown on TV around the world for months, and the Bahamas became the center of an emotional tug-of-war over an innocent baby. Things went badly before they could be fixed, though. Anna Nicole Smith was found dead in a Florida hotel room on February 8, 2007. She was only 39 years old and had overdosed on drugs by accident. Her death was very similar to the sad death of her son Daniel a few months before. Days after going to see Dannielynn, the baby, in the hospital. The paternity case became more important after Smith's sudden death. Birkhead's goal to get custody of his daughter turned into more than just a legal matter, it became a very important task for him. After weeks of tests, the long-awaited DNA results were released in April 2007. They proved what Birkhead had always said. He was the real father of Dannielynn. Birkhead stood in front of the cameras and said, "I'm the father." His voice was filled with feeling. "Thank you for your help. Thanks to the people who helped me get this far. My child will be home soon. Things are going quickly, and we'll see what comes next." Howard K. Stern took the results with grace, which wasn't often seen in the middle of all the chaos. He hugged Birkhead outside the Nassau courts. Many people who had been following their legal fight were shocked by this move. Stern said, "We're going to do everything we can to make sure that Dannielynn's best interests are met. He will get sole control, and I will do everything I can to make that happen. Right now, Larry is welcome to come over and hang out with Dannielynn for as long as he wants." Anna Nicole Smith was a mom before Dannielynn became famous. Daniel Wayne Smith was her first child. Born on January 22, 1986, was the most important thing in her life. Her rock before fame, money, and drama made her life what it is today. Daniel was quiet, polite, and wise beyond his years. He often kept his mother from losing her cool. Anna saw him as more than just her son. He was her companion, her best friend, and the only person who seemed to know the real Anna behind the mask. Daniel grew up in the shade of Anna's wild rise to fame. From being a waitress in Texas to being a Playboy model and J. Howard Marshall's wealthy widow, she has been through a lot. But Anna often said that Daniel kept her grounded, even though she was famous. She once told reporters, "He's my reason for living." It was a rare moment of honesty behind the camera. Others who knew them said that their relationship was very close. Daniel often went with his mom to events with red carpets, movie openings, and even TV shoots. He stayed in the background and watched, always there to protect her but never getting in the way. The fact that they couldn't be broken made what happened in September 2006 even worse. Dannielynn Hope Marshall Stern, Anna's second child, was born at a hospital in Nassau, Bahamas, on September 7. Friends and family of Anna said the delivery went well and that she was so happy she was smiling as she held her baby girl. After years of court cases and trouble in the tabloids, it looked like the actor and model had finally found peace for a moment. After 3 days, that peace was broken for good. Daniel had flown to the Bahamas to see his mother and meet his new sister on September 10, 2006. He died quickly in Anna's hospital room. He was only 20 years old. Reports say the young man got there just hours ago and was thrilled to see his mom and the baby. But just minutes later, tragedy struck. When Anna woke up, Daniel was in a chair next to her bed but not moving. Even though people worked hard to bring him back to life, it was too late. Later, an autopsy showed that Daniel had died of an accidental drug overdose caused by a lethal mix of methadone, Zoloft, and Lexapro, which were all prescription drugs that made it hard for him to breathe. The police said the death wasn't planned because Daniel had been taking the drugs for depression and back pain. However, Anna Nicole's grief was so heavy that no answer could make it lighter. People who saw what happened said it broke their hearts. Anna is said to have screamed and clung to her son's body when she realized he was gone, not willing to let go. It was hard for nurses and doctors to separate her from him. A hospital worker said she told them over and over, "You can't take my baby, he's all I have." She went into a deep mental trough after the loss that she would never fully recover from. When Larry Birkhead and his daughter Dannielynn Birkhead showed up in February 2021, it was a touching meetup between the past and the present. In a 2020 show honoring Anna Nicole Smith's life and work. The special, which aired on the 14th anniversary of Anna's death, was both a tribute and a trip of discovery. It took the father and daughter back to Mexia, Texas, where it all began, to the small town where the woman who became one of America's most famous icons grew up. Dannielynn, who was 14 at the time, had a rare chance to talk to her mother, whom she had only known through pictures, news stories, and headlines. She walked through the streets and saw the sights of Mahia with the help of her father. Many years ago, Anna went to high school as Vicki Lynn Hogan. She also worked as a waitress at a diner and dreamed of having a bigger life in certain areas. As they walked around the quiet Texas town, they felt both nostalgic and emotional. It was less about the controversy and attention that came with Anna Nicole's fame and more about getting to know the young woman she was before everyone knew her name. Birkhead said on the show that there were many happy times for Anna Nicole. A lot of highs came before a lot of lows. His words showed that he was both proud and sad, and that he understood that Anna's story had both sad and happy parts. Laughter and drive. It had been a long time since Dannielynn had a personal link to her mother's humanity. The 2020 special gave her that. She met some of Anna's school friends, who told her how much they loved the fun-loving, kind, and dreamy girl they remembered. They remembered her big smile, how she was crazy about Marilyn Monroe, and how determined she was to get out of her small town. Dannielynn no longer saw her mother as the media figure that everyone talked about. Instead, she saw her as a young woman who wanted love, family, and a better life, just like that. Larry Birkhead showed Dannielynn some of her mother's personal items that she had carefully kept over the years. This was one of the most moving parts of the special. One of the most important things was Anna Nicole's wedding dress, which she wore when she married billionaire J. Howard Marshall on Saturday, April 26, 1994. Anna's life changed when she wore the satin dress. The moment she went from being a dreamer from a small town to being at the center of one of the most controversial love stories in American history. When Dannielynn saw her mother's wedding dress, she smiled shyly. She was touched by the physical link to the mother she never got to meet. During the trip, Birkhead stayed cool and looked out for his daughter, giving her honest and caring information. For him, the show wasn't about bringing up old scandals or arguments again. It was to show his daughter parts of Anna Nicole that not many people saw. He said that people should remember Anna as a figure from another world who was truly loving and giving. A beautiful woman who cared about her family and friends. Since Anna Nicole Smith's life and memory live on in Larry Birkhead and his daughter Dannielynn, they take a moment every year around February 8 to honor her. Birkhead remembered her with a touching message on the 15th anniversary of her death in 2022. The message showed how much he still loved and missed her. He wrote in a moving tribute, "Today, I remember your heart, your soul, and your beauty, both inside and out. Your love is still alive today in the form of a unique teen girl who has her mom's smile, beauty, and bravery." Those words were more than just an honor. They showed how much Anna's spirit is still alive in her daughter. Although Dannielynn is now a teenager, she looks a lot like her mother. She is also very friendly and strong in a quiet way. Anna died in February 2007, when she was only 5 months old. The bond between mother and daughter has been kept alive through stories, photos, and the way Birkhead has raised her, grounded, interested, and aware of the woman the world used to love. The documentary Hopelessly in Love, which came out in 2020, gave people a better look at Birkhead and Anna Nicole's complicated relationship. The show gave viewers a rare, up-close look at their relationship, which is usually hidden by lawsuits and tabloid stories. Birkhead was honest about the good and bad times they had together, saying that their relationship was real but strained by the chaos of fame and the people around them. For the first time, fans saw past the drama to the real people behind a couple who used to love each other deeply but were torn apart by things bigger than themselves. Birkhead was ready to talk about their relationship again, not to get sympathy or attention, but to give Anna's story more weight. He said that many people have always been interested in Anna Nicole, but few knew what was really in her heart. She was fun to watch. She was very kind and loving, especially to her children. People who watched the Lifetime special were told that behind the fame was a woman who wanted family, stability, and love. This side of her was often hidden by her fame. I've always been interested in Anna Nicole's life. Netflix stated in January 2022 that they were making a new documentary with footage that had never been seen before. Promised to show how she went from being a girl from a small Texas town to becoming a famous person all over the world. Fans were looking forward to the project, which was supposed to go beyond the glitz and glamour and look into Anna's ambition, fragility, and effect on pop culture. These ongoing projects and retrospectives are like bittersweet memories for Birkhead. They bring new attention to a woman who was often misunderstood, on the one hand. On the other hand, they bring up old grief wounds. But he has kept accepting them because he sees them as chances to honor Anna's true self while preserving her memory. Birkhead said again on ABC's 2020 that she had moved many people. She must have made a lot of people's lives better. That's why I still think. People are still interested in Anna Nicole, and I think they will be for a long time. Craig Birkhead and his daughter Dannielynn Birkhead go to Louisville, Kentucky, every spring to see the Kentucky Derby. This is where history, fashion, and family memories all come together. Not only is it a fancy trip, it's also a very important spiritual journey. The Derby is important to them because it's where Larry met Anna Nicole Smith for the first time. The woman whose life and ideas still affect their own. Each year, they look forward to going to the event together, which is a sweet reminder of how far they've come since Dannielynn's early, busy years. Every year, before the main event, the two go to the famous Barnstable Brown Gala, which is one of the most star-studded parties in Louisville before Derby. There will be music, fashion, and charity events that night, and for the Birkheads, it's a chance to remember how happy and outgoing Anna Nicole used to be at these kinds of events. Larry bought Dannielynn's beautiful black and white outfit at a charity auction in 2003. Janet Jackson wore the same outfit to the same event in 2003, which made news at the 2022 Barnstable Brown Gala. It was a full-circle fashion moment that showed how much Dannielynn's confidence was growing. And how she is linked to both her parents' glitzy past and her own current style. Janet Jackson is more than just a fashion hero for the Birkheads, they love her. The pop star's father and daughter are both huge fans, and they've been to several of her shows together. They even saw Janet's show after the 2022 Derby and then went to Cincinnati in July 2022 for another show. Larry shared a funny picture of himself on Instagram before the show and wrote, "Heading out to Dannielynn's second Janet Jackson concert, my millionth out in Cincinnati, while we sit here arguing over who is the bigger Janet fan. We're excited about the 100-degree heat, even though it will be bad outside." The post showed how fun it was for them to tease each other. A dad and daughter who joke around with each other, love the same music, and enjoy the little things in life. It was even more exciting for them when they got to meet Janet Jackson herself after the show. The Birkheads had built a happy, normal life after years of fame and loss, as shown by photos from the night that showed them with real smiles and wide eyes. They like more songs than just Janet Jackson. They spent Father's Day in June 2023 at a Duran Duran show. Another special night that showed how close they were. Larry shared a picture of himself and Dannielynn smiling at the venue along with an old picture of the two of them sharing earbuds when she was a little girl. He wrote in the caption, "Having a great Father's Day with Dannielynn at the Duran concert. I've been trying to teach her good songs since she was a little girl." It was a post that said everything about their bond. It has heart and is part parenting and part bonding. Instead of going to shows or charity galas, the Birkheads like to do something even simpler. They like to go to Disneyland. Dannielynn's family has been going to the California theme park since he was a child, and they went again in January 2024. Over the years, Disneyland has become their favorite place to get away, where they can take rides instead of walking the red carpet. And have fun being a dad and a kid. Larry posted pictures from their most recent trip and talked about how much he misses their old trips on Instagram. He couldn't believe how quickly time has gone by. The laughter at concerts, the classiness of Derby, and the carefree times at Disneyland show a side of Larry and Dannielynn that is very different from the sadness that used to be their family story. He often said that his main goal was to give his daughter a normal life in a crazy world, and it's clear that he did. Larry Birkhead, Anna Nicole Smith's heartbroken partner, had to raise their baby daughter Dannielynn and keep the many memories and things that made Anna's life so special after her sudden death in 2007. Some of those were her fancy clothes, her gowns for the red carpet, and her wide range of daily clothes. Each piece shows a different side of her nature. Larry chose to do something very emotional because he didn't know what the future held. He put Anna Nicole's clothes away, telling himself that their daughter might want to connect with her mother through the clothes she used to wear one day. Those boxes stayed closed for years. A private record of the woman who was once loved by everyone and the daughter who didn't get to know her very well. But Dannielynn became more interested in her mother as she got bigger. To Larry's surprise, she finally opened a few of those boxes in May 2023, as he told People magazine. He smiled and said, "She fits in some t-shirts and other things. She will also say things like, 'Dad, no thanks, that's not my style.'" Larry's words made me think of a teenage girl who had her own style, but still respected her mother's glamorous tradition. She was sure of herself enough to make her own. Her choice of clothes wasn't the fancy gowns that made Anna Nicole famous, but rather her own, more personal things. She wore casual tops, old shirts, and special items that made her think of the mother she lost when she was a baby. Dannielynn didn't think these clothes were fashion statements. They were links to a woman she only knew through stories and pictures. Each piece showed a little bit of the real Anna Nicole, not the tabloid star or Hollywood star, but the mother who laughed, dreamed, and lived her life with courage. Even so, not everything in the closet was appropriate for a teen. Larry laughed as he said that some of the clothes were too showing or low-cut. He also said that some things would have to wait until later. The response said it all about how the father and daughter interact with each other. Fun, caring, and respectful of each other. Birkhead chose to keep Anna Nicole's clothes because she wanted to keep her memory alive, not just because she liked them. He said over the years that he kept almost everything. From expensive dresses and shoes for the red carpet to trendy clothes worn in magazine shoots and jeans for everyday wear. Each item tells a story about how she went from being a waitress in a small Texas town to becoming a famous person all over the world as Anna Nicole Smith. Dannielynn has learned a lot about her mother by being surrounded by memories of those times as she has grown up. Anna's short but memorable life was full of laughter, desire, and hard times, according to the stories she has heard. She might not always want to wear her mother's widely daring clothes, but the fact that she can look through those boxes and find something that played a part in Anna's life is something that most daughters would value. Larry has said many times that he wants Dannielynn to be able to learn about her mother's life whenever she wants and however she wants. He has turned down offers to sell or show Anna's things because he wants to keep them private and holy as a memory of the woman who changed his life. It's all for Dannielynn. He told her she can choose what to do with it when she is ready. It is said that Larry Birkhead and his daughter Dannielynn make the Kentucky Derby a live tribute every year, not only to the sport's classic beauty but also to Anna Nicole Smith, the woman who brought them together. For them, the Derby at Churchill Downs in Louisville, Kentucky, has become more than just a fun time with friends. This is an old custom that is full of love and memories. The father and daughter walked the red carpet together again at the 149th Derby in May 2023, following a tradition they've had since Dannielynn was a child. At that year's Derby, Dannielynn stole the show in a stunning ball gown with a sunflower print. Her beautiful smile and natural poise made her look like her late mother, who was a famous actress. She finished off the look by wearing jewelry from Anna Nicole's own line, which gave her glamorous look an emotional touch. She made a choice that was meant to be a link between her mother's Hollywood past and the bright, stable future her father is building for her. But putting together the look wasn't easy. People magazine talked to Birkhead about how hard it was to put together that beautiful outfit. He laughed and said, "The dress was so big I had to drive it from Florida. It was too big to check in on the plane. This really came together." That small confession, which was part joke and part dad job, perfectly showed how funny their relationship is. Birkhead's love for his daughter has always been clear, whether they're at a red carpet event or just spending time alone. In May 2024, they celebrated another important event, the 150th Kentucky Derby. This anniversary was just as exciting and remembered as the first one.
This time, Dannielynn wore something bold and original that caught everyone's attention.
She wore a beautiful red dress that was based on Hino Eiji from Kamen Rider Yuo Tajidor Kambo, her favorite Japanese superhero. The fiery costume-inspired design was a fun take on derby fashion, and it showed how unique she was and how young she felt. Other guests wore beautiful flowers and feathers, but Dannielynn wore pop culture-inspired clothes, showing that she wasn't just her mom's daughter but also her own person. The Barnstable Brown Kentucky Derby Eve Gala is another important event. For Larry Birkhead and his daughter Dannielynn, it has always been more than just a fancy night out.
This is a very special ritual for me.
A monument to the night that changed both of their lives for good.
It was clear what that meant to Dannielynn when she paid tribute to her late mother, Anna Nicole Smith, at the 34th annual Barnstable Brown Gala in May 2023.
Dannielynn, who is now a teenager, turned heads in a stylish and emotional outfit for the special night. A blouse made just for her with pictures from her famous guest promotion. Beautiful black and white pictures of Anna Nicole, which made the brand famous in the 1990s, now framed her daughter's red carpet moment.
Not only fashion, but also sharing stories through style.
There was a picture of Anna Nicole on the fabric that showed her confidence, beauty, and obvious charm. That's everything Dannielynn now does in her own quiet, modern way. Standing proudly next to her, Larry Birkhead made sure that his outfit matched perfectly.
He wore a tie that matched Dannielynn's blouse.
It was a small but important gesture that showed how close they were as father and daughter and as people who would always remember Anna Nicole. Together, they looked both bright and solid. A family that had lost someone so terrible but kept celebrating life with love, grace, and fun. They say that the Barnstable Brown Gala is almost like a movie in their story.
And Nicole and Birkhead met for the first time at this event in 2003.
In the middle of Derby weekend's glitz and chaos, they met for a short time and really hit it off.
One of those lucky meetings that changes the course of a person's life forever.
Birkhead has thought about that night a lot because it was a turning point that led to both the best love and the worst sadness of his life. He told people, "It's funny how one event can change your life, in a very honest way. That's what this party did for me. How different my life would have been if I hadn't been there that night and made that link.
I wouldn't have met Anna and had our daughter." This feeling grows stronger every year.
Going to the gala isn't just a way for Birkhead to remember the past, it's also a time for her to be thankful. It makes him think of the night in Kentucky 20 years ago when love and fate met, resulting in the birth of his daughter, who would later become his whole world.
The world first met Dannielynn Birkhead as a wide-eyed little girl in one of Hollywood's most heartbreaking stories.
Now that she is almost in her final year of high school, she has grown into a strong, focused, and driven young woman. She is now 17 years old and juggling the weight of her fame with the regular things that teenagers do, like studying, making friends, and dreaming about the future. But what really makes her stand out is how hard she works at school and how strong she and her father, Larry Birkhead, are in a quiet way.
Birkhead couldn't hide his joy in June 2023. When he posted a moving update on Instagram about how well his daughter was doing in school.
Dannielynn ended 11th grade and stayed on the honor roll even though taking care of my mom before she died was hard at times.
He wrote, "I am so proud."
His words were full of both joy and kindness. There was a very real story behind the happy message. The family had been through a lot during the last few months of Birkhead's mother's life. Even so, Dannielynn was able to stay focused on her schoolwork, which shows that she is naturally determined. For many people who have watched her journey since birth, seeing her as a smart, confident teen doing well in school is an amazing reminder of how far she's come. Dannielynn has a great sense of balance because she grew up away from the chaos of fame and close to her father, who was always there for her. Her mother's beauty and charm may have come from her, but her own discipline, humility, and sharp mind are all her own. In talks, Birkhead often tells the truth about how he raised her. He has made it clear that his main goal has always been to give her a stable and normal childhood, even though he knows about her famous family tree.
He once told people, "We don't hang out at home and talk about Hollywood."
He meant that education and character have always been important to him, and it shows. Dannielynn is mature beyond her years and always acts with poise, whether she's at a charity gala, in her mother's hometown, or taking a high school test. The way she's thinking about her future may be the most surprising and welcome change.
Birk told People in the same interview that Dannielynn is thinking about becoming a forensics officer.
This field might seem strange to someone whose mother was on magazine covers and whose life was first made public in tabloids. But for people who know how much her father meant to her, it makes perfect sense. Dannielynn is interested in investigation, logic, and evidence, which shows that she is analytical and wants to know the truth. This makes her a perfect candidate for forensic science. Birkhead makes jokes about how time goes by so fast. It's been a crazy ride from bedtime stories and trips to Disneyland with my daughter to now talking about college applications. He said in interviews, it's hard to believe she's getting ready for college.
He often thought about how happy Anna and Nicole would be to see their daughter as a young woman.
They talk a lot about college applications, majors, and school visits now that her senior year is almost over.
Birkhead has said that he wants Dannielynn to do whatever makes her happy.
Whether that means going into science, using her artistic skills, or staying close to home to keep learning. Right now, her goal is to finish strong. Honor rolls, service work, and getting involved in the community all shaped her high school years. People sometimes pay attention to her at events like the Kentucky Derby, but her everyday life is very normal. She works hard at school, listens to music, and hangs out with her dad. Her dad still drives her to school and makes fun of the songs she picks out. The next year will be a big one because it will be the end of her high school career. Not only Dannielynn, but also Larry is feeling nostalgic and excited at the same time. The best thing in his life has been seeing his daughter grow up to be such a kind and strong young woman.
If you know Dannielynn Smith, her daughter, what do you think of her? Please tell us what you think in the box below.
We hope this video was helpful for you. Kindly click like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the video.
Glad you watched, and see you in the next film. Thank you.